If you want to earn more money, then your first thought might be, I need to work more hours. That makes sense, doesn't it? Well, the problem is we only have so many hours in a day. But what if instead you could tap into the 8 hours of sleep you get every night and make money passively? If you don't have a lot of money but you still want to get started investing in passive income, then I would suggest that you start with things that you already own and find a way to rent them out. For example, you can use Airbnb or Vrbo to rent out a part of your home or the entire home. Say you're on vacation or you have a spare bedroom or a basement that goes unused most of the time. You can turn that into a cash flowing asset for a few $100 to $1,000 every month. If you own a pool, then you can even rent that out using Swimply. People will pay you a good amount of money for an hourly rate to use your pool.
Now you could rent your car out online through something like Turo if you wanted to create passive income. Maybe you have a second vehicle or you travel a lot, you're on vacation. There is someone who's in your town, in your city, who needs a ride and is willing to pay a good amount of money for your vehicle. And if you have a junker, you could go through something like Rapify and wrap that baby up with someone else's advertising and get paid for every mile you drive, as long as you're okay with losing your street cred.
You can even convert empty space in your garage into passive income through something like Neighbor. Passive income aside, if I had to invest in just one thing, it would be myself. And that's exactly why I made this YouTube channel, to invest in you. Every week I bring you a video to help educate and inspire. So if you're not subscribed, do us both a favor and hit that button real quick. So we talked about renting out your home and other things that you own. Well, what about if you don't own your home? I'm not gonna let you off that easy, because even if you are renting an apartment or a house, you can still turn that into a cash flowing asset. Airbnb arbitrage is a new term that's been floating around the past few years, and basically you are going to talk to your landlord or a potential landlord for a place that you're looking at and ask them, can I sublet or lease out this property when I'm not here? Now there's two main ways to do this. The first of which is to just say, hey, I need a place to stay, but I travel a lot, or maybe I just don't have that much money, so I need to pick up a roommate or two, or Airbnb out a room so that I can earn some extra income to make it more affordable for me. Now others will go for option 2, which is to turn this into a real business, where you're reaching out to landlords all the time, you're picking up units as you go along, each one bringing more and more cash flow. And you may be wondering, why would a landlord ever let you Airbnb out their unit? Couldn't they just do it themselves? Well, the person might not believe in Airbnb, they might be too busy, they might not live nearby, and so what you can do is offer them 3 benefits. First of all, you're paying your rent on time every single month. Second of all, you can offer to pay above market rent, since you're probably gonna make a good profit anyways. And 3, you're gonna consistently clean, deep clean, do maintenance. You're gonna take care of the property like it was your own. If you wanna learn more about this topic, make sure you check out J.R. Rivera's on YouTube. You may have seen this next passive income idea on social media, a business where you go and purchase and then operate cash flowing vending machines. You can do this same thing with ice machines, ATMs, basically any standalone service. Now, obviously, this is a business. It's going to take a lot of work on the upfront, but the idea is that you can scale it into something passive that creates a lot of ongoing income for you. Now, according to successful entrepreneurs who have done this already, there's 3 main things that you need to focus on if you want to try this out. 1, get your location right. Go to a high traffic area and then find a business that doesn't have one of these machines and pitch it to them. Typically, this would be a small business, family owned, and you would offer them either a revenue share or a flat fee to put your machine there every month. Number 2, figure out your product. Are you doing a vending machine? Is it going to be ice? Figure out your market, what their needs are. If it's a vending machine, what's going to go inside of it? What are the prices going to be? What are the prices on the machines in other businesses? And what's the shelf life? That's all gonna have to be something you figure out. Number 3, set up a system so that you're consistently collecting the cash, consistently restocking it, consistently doing maintenance. If this is going to be a passive income business for you, then you need to create these systems now so you can delegate them to someone else later on. The simplest and most widely used method for passive income investing is stocks. And while there are a lot of options under that big umbrella, 2 of them stand out above the rest. One is index funds, and this is where I got my start personally. Now, these invest in a variety of companies across an entire sector so that you have a well-diversified, low-risk portfolio. Basically, you're buying portions of shares in different companies. So one index fund might have a little bit of Apple, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Google. It diversifies across all of those. In most financial expert opinions, the best index funds to go for are the ones with the broad coverage of the whole market. I'll go ahead and throw some of my favorite ticker symbols up there. Now you can purchase these at any online, low or no fee brokerage. I suggest going to something like TD Ameritrade. That's where I do most of my investing. And I should warn you, the real passive income comes from the profit of the stock growing. So it's in your best interest to keep the stock for at least 5 to 10 years without touching it. If you want the 8 to 10% average market return, which is a really healthy rate, then you have to just put it in there, forget about it, leave it alone, and trust that over time it's going to grow. But if you want to get a little picky, you want to lean into individual stocks, then I would recommend looking up dividend investing. Basically, a company has two choices every quarter. They can either distribute dividends, which is like a kickback of profit to the investors, or they can reinvest in the company. A lot of Fortune 500 companies that have been around for a long time, they're stable in their growth, they distribute up to 8% dividends on top of the stock growing gradually over time. Although technically there's a little more risk, you could just diversify that risk by choosing multiple dividend stocks, or I prefer to invest in an index fund that covers a bunch of dividend stocks. One of the greatest ways to get passive income through real estate is through what's called a REIT. REIT. That's a real estate investment trust. Basically, you have a real estate company who's going to put together a group of properties that might be commercial, might be single family home rentals, and then they're going to find a group of investors to invest in them. And these are super easy to invest in because they're just like any other stock on the market. You invest in them just like shares, and you can sell them at any time too. In exchange, you hope that the stock will grow and you will receive quarterly dividends. And to top it off, these tend to be ultra recession proof. So if you expect that there's going to be a downturn in the next year or two, these are a great way to diversify your portfolio. As always, do your own research, but I'm going to list a few REITs that you can get started with that have been around for a long time and I'm personally invested in myself. Syndications are very similar to REITs, except for these are private real estate deals. So it's not found on the public stock market. You have to actually go find these people yourself or go to their website, but you can invest with them. Now, typically you have to be accredited or sophisticated, meaning you own a lot of real estate or you make a lot of money, but there are syndications in which you can invest even if you're not. These not only pay dividends like your REITs, but they also share in the profit. You typically have to hold them for about 5 years for them to put work into the property and then sell it for higher. But at that point, you should get a big payday. A big name in the game is Grant Cardone. He does a lot of commercial properties, and I've personally invested with him. Another one I love is Arrived Homes. They have a huge portfolio of rentals, and you can actually choose which rentals you want to invest in. Another amazing way to diversify your investments when it comes to passive income is to invest in businesses, specifically startups. And while you may think that that's only for the Shark Tank entrepreneurs who have a lot of money, there's actually a lot of opportunities out there for regular people like you and me to get invested. The easiest way by far is to go through a website like AngelList. It allows a pool of regular investors to fund different startups. So you can hop on the platform, sign up, and start doing your own research on startups that you believe in and make investments in them to fund their growth. In exchange, you get equity, meaning you have ownership of the company. So when they go public and are publicly traded on the stock market, or they sell the company later on, you get a big payday, assuming that they had good growth and didn't go out of business or anything. So there definitely is more risk with investing in startups than there is with normal stocks or even real estate, so you have to do your due diligence. And do keep in mind that it is a long-term play. Typically, you have to wait to sell your share till they go public or they sell. Sometimes you can sell your share while they're still privately traded, but it can be much trickier, so just keep that in mind. Boxable is one such company that I've gotten to and invested in personally. I know that Elon Musk is rumored to live in one of their affordable housing units that they make, which I think is super cool. Another option is called peer-to-peer lending, in which you can fund people for various reasons, and then they pay you interest every single month. Basically, you're a personal bank loan for them. So maybe they need $10,000 for XYZ, you're gonna fund that, but they're gonna pay you back 10% interest over X amount of months. Now, if that's not your speed, and maybe you're a little bit more of a creative, not so much a business person, then this one is right up your alley. I think an amazing way to create passive income is to do some initial work up front, create something digitally, and then sell that baby for as long as you can. So think about an online course if you have expertise in a certain area, or you could write an ebook on an experience you had. You could even do a blog. My wife has a side hustle where she creates digital designs on Canva and Photoshop, and then she sells them online. So she makes one design for a hoodie or one printable resume template, and then she'll go to Etsy or Amazon and she'll sell that over and over and over again. And this is exactly what I do here on my YouTube channel. I make one video, spend a few hours on it, and then 5-10 years from now, it should ideally still be getting views that I can monetize on. If you want to learn about my YouTube journey so far, I made a really good video on it that people seem to like. Make sure you click on my right here if you want to check that out, and I'll see you there.